Consider the civilization of the West, how it hath agitated and alarmed the peoples of the world. An infernal engine hath been devised. It sounds exactly like a modern critique of tech or maybe even nuclear weapons, right? Well, actually, this chilling warning comes straight out of a 19th century religious text.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound, almost poetic blueprint for society, found in a collection of texts known as the Tablets of Baha'u'llah. Written way back in the late 1800s, these documents give us a fascinating window into this sweeping vision for a totally new world order. We're talking about everything from the spiritual state of humanity right down to the actual nuts and bolts of global governance.
To make sense of this massive framework, we'll be moving through a vision to reality arc. We're going to quickly hit 5 main areas: the grand announcement, the glad tidings, building a unified world, governance and justice, and finally, character and action. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the grand announcement of a new divine era.
So the foundational claim here is massive. It's declaring that humanity has entered this completely new, global spiritual spring. The text uses some incredibly majestic language to announce this, proclaiming, "He that was hidden from mortal eyes is come. His all-conquering sovereignty is manifest, his all-encompassing splendor is revealed." The author uses these vivid metaphors, like a day star dawning on humanity, to represent divine light. It even personifies sacred locations like Mount Carmel in Jerusalem, describing them as practically vibrating and rejoicing at the arrival of this new era.
And what's really wild is how incredibly direct this text gets. It specifically targets the clergy of past religions and basically tells them to get out of their bubbles. It says, "O concourse of monks, leave the bells, and come forth then from your churches." For the 19th century, that is a wildly radical call to action. It's challenging the religious leaders of the world to step up, recognize ancient promises, and actually engage with this unfolding reality instead of just staying isolated.
Which brings us to Section 2, the glad tidings, marking a sharp break from the past. Here, the text makes a hard pivot. We go from these grand spiritual announcements straight into concrete social laws. It explicitly abolishes a bunch of traditional religious practices through decrees known as the glad tidings. It firmly states that the law of holy war blotted out forever. It completely forbids burning or destroying books, it ends monastic seclusion, and it abolishes confessing your sins to other human beings. The whole goal here is to just bulldoze those historical barriers that have kept humanity fighting and divided for so long.
It's a literal night and day comparison. On one side, you have the remnants of historical strife, holy wars, physical isolation, things like that. But on the flip side, this new revelation actually mandates fellowship with all religions. It pushes people to engage in practical trades and study sciences that actually benefit humanity. It's a massive shift from hiding away to actively, constructively participating in the world.
Moving on to Section 3, building a unified world through practical steps.
So, how exactly do these rules build a unified society? Remember, this was drafted in the 1800s, yet the action plan is shockingly modern. It calls on world leaders to adopt one universal auxiliary language and a single script to be taught in all schools globally. Why? So people aren't wasting their lives struggling to communicate across language barriers. The ultimate overarching goal is to regard the entire Earth as just one country.
And to make that one country idea an actual reality, it doesn't just politely suggest tolerance, it demands universal fellowship. It explicitly commands its followers to consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendship and fellowship. You're supposed to associate with everyone with joy and radiance, completely tearing down those sectarian borders that have historically fractured us.
But, this push for unity isn't just some idealistic pipe dream. It's framed as an absolute necessity for human survival. Think about how eerie and prescient this is for the 1800s. It warns that strange and astonishing things exist in the Earth whose contamination would prove lethal. It's essentially predicting modern weapons of mass destruction. It explicitly ties global peace directly to our basic survival in an age of rapid tech advancement.
All right, Section 4, governance and justice, laying out a global framework.
How do you even manage a world like that? Well, the text introduces what it calls the House of Justice. Instead of rigid, dusty old rules that never change, this body is designed to adapt to the daily, evolving needs of society. Its ministers are viewed as trustees of God, acting on current requirements and upholding justice through the twin pillars of reward and punishment. It's meant to be a totally dynamic, responsive system that grows right alongside humanity.
Alongside this governance is the concept of the lesser peace. This is a binding political agreement among nations. Just imagine it, a world where weapons are literally converted into tools for reconstruction, and we are finally relieved from the crushing economic weight of insane military budgets. That is the concrete practical goal laid out right here.
Interestingly enough, it also throws in a really fascinating idea for national governments. It advocates for a hybrid system. It merges the representative benefits of a republic, which it notes profits all people, with the majesty of kingship, which it considers a sign of God. By mixing these two forms together, the text suggests you get a framework uniquely designed to balance both order and liberty.
Finally, we land on Section 5, Character and Action, focusing in on the individual's role.
Because let's be real, a global framework is only as strong as the people actually living in it. The text suddenly zooms all the way in on the individual, and it completely redefines worship. It states, "When anyone occupieth himself in a craft or trade, such occupation itself is regarded in the estimation of God as an act of worship." Engaging in useful crafts, sciences, and trades is basically elevated to the exact same level as praising God, while laziness and idleness, those are heavily condemned.
Beyond just clocking into work, the foundation of this whole new world order rests purely on personal virtues. It calls good character the best mantle, and trustworthiness the door of security for everyone on earth. Justice and fairness have to be observed at all times. It even promotes this profound level of selflessness, urging you to actually prefer your brother before yourself.
It is not his to boast who loveth his country, but it is his who loveth the world. That quote right there is the ultimate mindset shift demanded by the text. It actively challenges us to expand our loyalty way past our national borders. It's a call to elevate our perspective so that our primary, fundamental allegiance is to the entirety of the human race.
As we wrap up this explainer on this incredibly detailed blueprint found in the tablets of Baha'u'llah, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. If we truly actually apply these principles, from the highest levels of global governance all the way down to our everyday jobs, how would your daily interactions change if you viewed this entire Earth as just a single city? Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep exploring.